Because I'm muted. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RickCast. I am the aforementioned Rick. I'm so happy that you guys are hanging out with me on this Thursday evening, 2025. We got a great show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm happy that you are here. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you can keep up with everything that is happening here on RickCast. The reason why I was about 40 minutes late, 40 minutes for the show be over, is that a little bit of change on the government shutdown thing. Good evening, Lou. How are you? I always like it when you say that so I can make that rhyme. She is doing better. I'm fine because I'm taking 8 to 10,000 international units of vitamin D, like 400 milligrams of vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, vitamin A. So I'm good on all that stuff. And I drink plenty of liquids, and I know it's Lent, but with my wife saying that she's got the flu, I've upped my calorie intake to kind of help fight off any potential infection or anything like that. I know that's more of a placebo effect than anything else, but I do it and it works. It's tough though, because I don't eat meat during the week except on Sunday, especially now we're in the Ember days. Today's not one, but tomorrow and Saturday are Ember days. But I've given up meat every day but Sunday because I have the thing where I am of the belief. This is Catholic Inside Baseball, folks, so we're going to get through it quickly. I believe every Sunday is a celebration. It's a mini Easter. We celebrate the Lord's Day, so anything I've given up during Lent, I'm allowed to break it on the Sunday. So if I gave up fast food during Lent, I would have like a burger, like a McDonald's burger or something. Some guys are, more hardcore, if you want to say, and they don't have anything because they're tougher and rougher and whatever. I don't believe that. I have a lot of saint quotes that say it's okay to do that kind of stuff. But yes, Lou, she's fine. You will never meet my wife. Nope, that's not her thing. She is an introvert, and she is not in this line. She's not about this life. So I don't want to entangle her in any of that stuff. So sorry, Steph. That's not going to happen. Just because I don't want her to get any kind of ramifications about those kind of things. But she's doing better. She's still recovering. She's on her kind of stuff, like her medication, but she's doing good. So thank you guys. Please continue to pray for her as she recovers. And we have a great, her life. She doesn't choose to be on the internet. She doesn't want to be on the internet. So I am not going to put her on the internet. That's up to, her. We were late because the government shutdown story has actually changed in real time. There is no government shutdown looming because Schumer and the Democrats folded. So we will adapt and talk about that on this show. We're also going to talk about these tax cuts for people making $150,000 or less, which would be some of those transformative things to ever take place. If you're making like $100,000 a year, that's almost an extra $2,000 a month. Because if it's 25, I don't do the taxes. Well, I'm having an aneurysm doing my taxes right now. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a creative guy. I talk on the internet and I make stuff up and I spin tales out of nothing. I don't do numbers. My wife is a genius with numbers, but I don't want her to do taxes because she don't want to do that stuff either. So, getting through all that, but that would be transformative for most of the people in these United States. As far as spending power and all of these other kinds of things that would affect the economy. I think it would be a net positive for the economy, but you guys can let me know what you think of that part. Not a big fan of this idea of invoking the Alien and Sedition Acts. Yeah, from 1738. Trump's all about that. Don't know if I like that too much. Your standard stupid MAGA idiot is like, yeah, let's go. It's like, do you actually realize what the Alien Sedition Acts did? You can pretty much designate anybody an alien and toss them out of the country. But the sedition part is the thing that I don't think you guys are understanding too much. There's a reason why when John Adams signed it, he got blown out of office. He's the only one of the first 5 that only served one term for a reason. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll finish up the show. Landman season 2. It's in the books. They're going after it. I liked Landman season 1, so I'm a big fan of the idea of having a second season of Landman. So we're going to talk about it. And then after this show, I'm going to jump on with Steve Cunningham, and we're going to talk for like another 2.5 hours. So it's going to be a good night for me. Thursday nights are my busiest nights streaming wise, and I like that, and I work for you guys. So if you could do me a favor while you're here, you hit that like, subscribe, share, notification bell, all the fun things to help the channel grow. And if you're watching in the replay, can you do me a favor? Can you let me know in the comment section when you watch it, what time of day you're watching it, so I can kind of get a gauge on this stuff. Just leave me a comment saying, I watched it at 9:30 at night, or I watched it at, 6 in the morning, or whatever the case may be. So let me know that. That would be very helpful for me. And, it's all about me. But I got 3 hot takes for you. Today. So let's get right into it. Where's our first one? The first one for the haters out there is some good news. This morning, the Russians decided to agree on that 30-day. What's the channel you're jumping on? Oh, Census Fidelium with Steve Cunningham. I'll put a link in the YouTube chat after. Census Fidelium. Steve Cunningham and I do a show called News from the Pew every Thursday at 8:15 Eastern time, which would be 7:15 because I'm on God's time Central. And then I talk with Steve, and we talk about stuff, and Steve's fantastic. I love Steve. He's a great guy. So for the haters out there who just want Donnie to fail at everything, this is a good sign. It's not perfect. It's not the end of it, but it's what I would like to call a good sign. You can hear it from Putin himself.
Agree with the propositions to stop hostilities, but we proceed from the fact that such ceasefire should be such that would lead to a permanent peace and remove the original causes of the crisis.
A lot of people are saying, well, what does he mean by this? Blah, blah, blah. And most of you, the reason why you're struggling with this is the reason why your car payment is probably $600 to $700 a month. You don't know how to negotiate. You come in with an offer. You expect the negotiating party to give you what we like to call a counter offer. Too many people here in America don't understand, and they don't know how to haggle or make a deal in any way, shape, or form. So they just expect they throw out the offer, it's accepted, and they go, right? That's what they do all over the place. No, you actually have to haggle with people. And this is a case of Trump has the ceasefire with the Ukrainians, and the Russians have signaled that they are willing to sign the ceasefire if these conditions are met. Does that mean they need all the conditions to be met in order for the ceasefire to be signed? No, but they are laying out their terms. These are what we like to call negotiating terms. And then you go back and forth, and eventually you settle on some things. Does everybody get what they want? No. Does the overall World War III aspect get avoided? Hopefully. Is that what we want? Yes. So everybody, freaking out about he's not taking the deal, it's not happening. Most of you don't know how to negotiate, and that's why you pay full price for everything. And it shows. So that's some good news there. That's our first hot take today on RickCast. The terms are being laid out, and that's what needs to happen. A lot of time it does not happen in the open. These usually happen behind closed doors, but the way this thing is being broadcast, and I understand why they're doing it publicly, because if they do it privately, things can get batted around and misperceived. If you do it in the open, everybody has a record of it. And they know, all right, well, Putin's asking for this. Zelensky's asking for this. Trump wants this. And that way it will work. It's in Trump's best interest as a deal maker to get the job done and get it done to a point where all sides can agree on the terms of this deal. But we'll see. At least it's moving in the right direction, right? A ceasefire is good. Ceasefire turns into negotiations. If we can get negotiations to stop the fighting, I don't know how you could be upset with that. Even liberals, you can't be upset with that. if you get an end to the bloodshed. All right, second hot take of the day is this weird saga about this. Hold on. Shh, lady, dude, not a lady. So this representative, I don't even know. I forgot what state this person's from. I have to say this person because it is a man masquerading as a woman. Let's see. Who is this person? I know. I just don't care about this person. This person supposedly Sarah McBride. And Sarah McBride is a dude. And was elected to Congress as a woman. And she, he, it, they, him has been telling everybody that they deserve to use the female restroom. Except the parts are for the men's restroom. And this is the thing that Nancy Mace has made her bones on, trying to keep this person out of the male restroom. And the female restroom. This thing is just absolutely throwing me all over the place. But the fact of the matter is, I want you to listen to what this person says about Republicans standing up and saying, yeah, you got to use the men's restroom.
We will not take a lecture on decorum from a party that incited an insurrection.
Insurrection!
I appear to live rent-free in the minds of some of my Republican colleagues.
No, you literally being a sideshow. And that is, and I've talked about transgenderism, and that is in a mental illness, and the fact that doing this stuff and letting this person cosplay as a whatever is bad in the long run for their mental health. It is actually worse for us to let them indulge in this fantasy than to say, you need help. What can we do as a society to help you? You're not living rent-free in our heads. What we're doing is saying, you obviously have something wrong with you. And you drawing attention to yourself is not living rent-free in Republicans' heads. But that's how they have, I live rent-free in your head. Mm-hmm. No, you don't. Sorry.
I wish would spend even a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, thinking about how to lower the costs for American families.
By the way, inflation is down, eggs are down, gas is down. Not really a great argument.
I wish they would spend a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, figuring out how to make government actually work better, rather than making it work worse.
Well, Doge is making things more efficient. That is what the E stands for in Doge. Whether you like it or not, cutting 50% of the workforce at the Department of Education and putting that money back to the states is a more efficient way of doing things, yet you're still a man pretending that you're a woman.
In order to prove that government can't work.
It doesn't.
They are obsessed with culture war issues.
You are a walking culture war issue. The fact that you exist, you are a culture war issue. The fact that you insist on going into the bathroom of a sex that you are not is a culture war issue. And a lot of people voted for Donald Trump to get rid of this. They voted against your fantasy.
The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues.
Ma'am, you are literally having a press conference to talk about how they're obsessed about you. You're the one having the press conference, telling everybody that they're obsessed with you. Wouldn't it be them having a press conference to talk about you if they were obsessed with you? Right? I mean, I wasn't a cool kid in high school, so I don't know how this stuff works.
Is weird, and
or ever.
It is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected.
Honey, I guess I'll hit you with the Southern. Oh, honey, you can't stand up there with your fake hair and your fake eyelashes and your fake tone and your shade and your fake appearance and make that kind of argument. You look a little foolish.
Officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people, not to play games and not to engage in schoolyard taunts.
You going into the female restroom is a schoolyard taunt. Oh, she's so brave. So brave. As the other women have to stand there and validate her existence. Yeah. Yeah. Completely and utterly ridiculous. All right. So that's our second hot take here. Yeah. I should have gotten that gift from the State Farm commercial. Yeah, well, she's a guy. Gigantic Adam's apple talking about how everybody else is unserious. You sure about that? You sure about that? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our last. We got two more hot takes. I got a lot of hot takes for you today. Let's see. Next hot take. This is just was mentioned in passing today. I need to know how to work my stuff better. But let's see here from, and let's see, LBC. Yeah, from LBC News. UX will annex Greenland, Trump says, as he warns NATO might have to get involved in takeover. Speaking during a White House meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump said the island was needed for international security. He said Mr. Rutte could be, quote unquote, very instrumental in making it possible, but the NATO leader was less keen on getting involved in such transactions. Mark, we need that for international security. We have a lot of our favorite players cruising around the coast, and we have to be careful. Mr. Rutte responded saying, when it comes to Greenland, joining or not joining the U.S., I would leave that outside this discussion because I don't want to get dragged. I don't want to drag NATO into this. So Trump's kind of beating the war drum on taking over Greenland. I guess that's a good idea or not. But the entire process is going to be messy. And I don't know, I might be wrong on this kind of stuff. I know the MAGAites are going to be all for it. But does Trump really want to waste his political capital on stuff like this? You let me know in the comment section down below if you believe that or not. I don't think he should, but who am I, right? But that's something that's kind of stirring around in the background here on RickCast. And if you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. And last one, this is a throwback to my days when I used to be on the Crusade Radio Network. I used to call myself Rakita Beret, and I said I was going to try out for the WNBA. Gentlemen, ladies, my time has come. So the Los Angeles Sparks are going to hold male practice player tryouts on April 12th. So we need to start a GoFundMe so my little fat booty can go to Los Angeles and play some baddie ball with the ladies and hit them with that nasty crossover. And all kidding aside, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea, by the way. This is awful. Some dude is going to go in there, like one of these and one players or one of these guys. Now, if they're smart, they'll screen it and they'll only let fat little guys like me in. But some D3 basketball player who just left Rhode Island College or one of these colleges who, he could have played D2, maybe been a bench player and at like a low D1 school. He's going to roll into this tryout and he is going to absolutely light this whole thing on fire. And they're all going to look bad. I know what they're trying to do. They're going to be like, we can play with any man, and we're the best players in the world. As long as Angel Reese isn't playing, we know that people will at least make layups. But this is awful. Whoever thought of this idea needs to get canned. because one of the tall one in the back, the tall blonde girl, she gonna get dunked on, and it's gonna look terrible. Like, she's gonna get postered, and it's gonna suck all the momentum out of the WNBA. I'm saying I'm trying to be nice to y'all. Right? I'm trying to be nice to y'all. Like, what kind of rules are you going to put in? Are guys going to be allowed to, like, box out, throw elbows? Are they going to, and the guys are going to they're going to pull out because they don't want to hurt the girls. That's what happens. They always kind of like pull back because they don't want to hurt them. That's exactly right. That's when the U.S. Olympic soccer team got beat by like a 15 and under squad. It's going to be such a devastating thing. You heard it here first, man. Somebody is going to posterize one of these girls. And every time the WNBA talks about we need more money, they're just going to show that video over and over and over and over again. Somebody got under these girls like, oh, you could totally invite boys, and then you could show them up, and then everybody will see that women are just as good at basketball players as men. And I'm not saying you're not. In your sport, this girl here is actually very, very good. I don't know her name. All of these girls are they're athletic. They're somewhat skilled, obviously, if they got to that level, but you're not as fast. You're not as honestly, if I got myself into shape, which I've been saying I'm going to do for the last 10 years, and I put on my knee brace, I'm pretty sure you guys would have a tough time keeping up with me. And I know if anybody heard that, they would call me the biggest misogynist. There's just something God designed. The two men and women are not equal. And I think the Los Angeles Sparks are going to run into that biological fact pretty hard. And I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, if it does, I'm going to take the video and I'm going to play it every single day. But what do we talk about on the show a lot? Don't do an unforced error. Don't do unforced errors. It's just stupid because it's just not one of these things that's going to help you. And we don't want to see you guys get embarrassed. Mostly. But yeah, I just saw this the other day and I sent a message to my buddy, Justin. He used to produce my show. And we talked about, Rakita Beret showing up and doing all this other kind of stuff. And we just could not help it. So guys on Twitter or on X, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but X has just not been doing well lately. So I don't know. YouTube guys, how's the stream going? Thumbs up, thumbs down on that if it's doing well. So just let me know. How's it going on that? Because I'm seeing right now, I'm trying to diagnose in real time if the stream is working. I don't know. I'm looking at this right now. Sorry about that. It's just me, guys. So when things we good? No complaints. Good. All right. That's good. All right. I guess Twitter is just still having problems. Oh, well. All right. Well, we'll see what we can do. I appreciate Magdalene keeping her eye out for that. That's why she's the best. Sorry about that. So bad look all around for the Sparks. Don't do that. Don't do it, please. Not because Rick's a jerk, but because Rick is looking out for you. Little Rick over here is looking out for you, the WNBA. I want you guys to get that $15 paycheck. I really do. I really, really do. I want you guys to get paid that $15,000 a year. You deserve it. Anyway, moving on to our next subject. First subject of the day, which was supposed to be a different subject, but now it's totally gone because Schumer and everybody copped out. So this was Chuck Schumer yesterday talking about the government shutdown.
Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass. We should.
So he came out yesterday and he said, we're not going to vote on your stupid bill because we're better than you are, and blah, blah, blah. The fact that they talk about passing the continuing resolution is the least they can do. And it is the least they can do because they kicked the can down the road on everything. So then this started the idea of, oh no, there's going to be a shutdown. It's going to be terrible. And then the game of optics begin. And then, of course, President Trump had to respond to the threat of the shutdown.
And ultimately that might lead to very, very high taxes, because we're talking about a shutdown. We're talking about getting to work immediately on the greatest tax bill ever passed. That was the one we did. It was a renewal, and it's an addition to it. And we're going to cut people's taxes. And if we don't open, the Democrats are stopping all of these good things that we're providing. We're providing the greatest package of benefits that this country's ever provided. The biggest part of that's going to be tax cuts for the middle class and for businesses, small businesses, employers, people that hire people in jobs. And if it's shut down, it's only going to be, if there's a shutdown, it's only because of the Democrats. And they would really be taking away a lot from our country and from the people of our country.
So we have the question, is it, 50-50 plus one? I thought so too, but for some reasons, continuing resolutions need 60 votes to pass. I don't know the ins and outs of the parliamentary procedure on why CRs need 60 votes. If you know anywhere on X or if you know why you need 60 votes, please let me know in the comment section down below so I can be more informed as we go on. But for some reason, when it comes to these budgetary things, it goes to that. But that's a good question, you would think. And since there's only 53 members of the House that are Republicans, and Rand Paul is on record saying he wasn't going to vote for it, everybody was like, okay, it looks like the shutdown's going to happen. And of course, the greatest gift, we thought Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was an amazing gift to us. One, Jasmine Crockett. Crockett Watch 2025, back again.
In my opinion, if we're shut down, you can't be fired. And
she realizes, right, that like the DOD and all these other, all the important stuff gets funded, but the forest people, the park rangers get let go, TSA gets let go, all of these other jobs get let go. So what? This woman is an elected member of Congress.
what does that mean? It does mean that people will not be paid, but it does mean that they will get their back pay. So hopefully we can stop some of the bleeding. We just saw that the Department of Education laid off 50% of their workforce. So I don't really understand why anybody would say, oh, we got to take the high road. Listen, he is decimating the federal government. And you're talking about whether or not we're going to keep the doors open. He literally is shutting down departments anyway.
Anyway, poor Jasmine. Poor Jasmine. Poor, sweet, stupid little Jasmine. And she's not stupid, but she's acting stupid, so she might as well be stupid. Chucky Schumer came out with this about an hour ago. Sorry, Jasmine.
To make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. There is nobody in the world, nobody, who wants to shut the government down more than Donald Trump and more than Elon Musk. We should not give it to them. And make no mistake, Democrats will continue to fight what Donald Trump is doing. Everything that Trump, Musk, and Republicans have done so far has a clear goal. Again, cutting taxes for billionaires, eviscerate Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid. This is the fight that matters most, and the fight we must focus on. All the chaos we have seen, all the lawlessness, all the grift and corrupt behavior. It's all about rigging the system in favor of the ultra-wealthy at the expense of working Americans. This is the fight the American people need to see. This is the fight that Democrats will win. A shutdown will be a costly distraction from this all-important fight. I yield the floor.
So 2 things there. Massey was right. Thomas Massey was right, because earlier in the day when they were talking about the shutdown, everybody said, oh, well, Massey said that they were in cahoots. And it's like Massey's sitting back and just saying, y'all wait. Just wait for it. Because it's going to happen, as it has. And secondly, what I'll take from this, and you can let me know if you agree. It's okay if you don't. It helps the show. It makes it better if you don't. This was in the past a slam dunk for the opposition party. You let the shutdown happen, and then you blame the party in power. It's an easy win for a couple weeks. They get a little negative press, and then they move on. Then they restart it, and everybody moves on. But the Democrats, in their desperation to try and stump the so-called Trump winning streak, this was something that just dropped in their laps, and they are letting it go. They're not even letting it get to the final hour. They're folding long before this thing gets close to being anything where we'd have to consider it, which means A, Thomas Massey was right. This thing was already agreed upon. And B, even, let's say it wasn't, right? Let's do 2 folds, right? 2 roads. 1, Thomas Massey's right. 2, the Democrats are in such disarray right now. They don't know who the face of, they got a dude on the House of Representatives running around making a spectacle of himself. You've got Jasmine Crockett running around being Ratchet Queen. Nobody in the Democratic Party on the senator side. 3 Democratic senators have actually stated that they are not running for re-election. I don't know if you guys heard about this. The other day, this was announced. We know Scott Presler, which I'll go out on record, I do not agree with Scott Presler's lifestyle. But as far as politics go, I mean, the guy does a heck of a job doing the things that he does. I don't have to like him to understand what he does. But press, come on. There he is. But yeah, the Democrats lost their funding. You're right, Mark. With USAID just shutting down, you have all of that. Where is this? Come on. He's in Wisconsin right now talking about this. Here we go. 2 days ago, yesterday, 3 Democratic senators have announced they are not seeking re-election. Gary Peters in Minnesota, Tina Smith in Minnesota. I'm sorry. Gary Peters is Michigan. So for those of you, before you get me, Gary Peters in Michigan is not running again. Tina Smith is not running again. And Jeanine Shaheen is not running again in New Hampshire. Meaning you have 3 senators dropping out before midterms, and usually midterms is when the party in power loses seats. But now you have 3 Democratic senators, 2 swing states. You could call Michigan a swing state, and you can call New Hampshire a swing state. Minnesota, it's lost. Mini Somalia, it's lost. And so you have a lot of chaos in the Democratic Party, probably because Mark's right, because they lost their funding and they don't know, right? You have the progressives, the radicals, the Jasmine Crockett's, the ones that want to just burn everything to the ground and, attack Tesla stations and do all these other things. And then you have the old guard. You have the old guard who the donor, like, think of Gavin Newsom, the old guard, the standard guard, whatever you want to, the non-progressive types. They'll go along with progressive policies because whatever, they don't care. They don't have a soul, but they tend to be more donor friendly. There's a debate going on between the two, who is going to be the future of the party, because they tried to run on progressivism and Kamala got the doors beaten off of her. So, and they won with an old school Democrat in Joe Biden. Now, of course, you all have to understand when I say won, it's in quotation marks, right? Because there was shenanigans. But we're seeing a ton of chaos in the Democratic Party. And this was a win for them. This could have been something even just to give Trump a little bit of a stop in his momentum to have to deal with this. I don't like continuing resolutions. I don't like how much money the government's being funded. I'm just looking at that strategically, right? Strategery, as George W. Bush would say, some strategery here. The fact of the matter is, the opposing party shuts the government down, even if they don't have a plan, just to put the party in power on its heels, even for a couple minutes. So I guess instead of the Alex Jones was right tip jar, we're going to have to start the Thomas Massie was right tip jar, because Thomas Massie, even though I guess he's funded by an Israeli guy, that was a big deal today. I don't really care. I love Thomas Massie anyway. He's one of these guys that he knows what he's doing. All right, this is RickCast. I am Rick. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, do all the fun things. Oh, yeah, I had an article here real quick. It's bad when Axios is going to call you this, when Axios has this to say to you. Democrats prepare to fold on government shutdown. Why does it matter? The outcome will spark fury of many Democrats and the grassroots of the party who have lobbied this week for lawmakers to block the short-term funding bill, but it tracks with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's long-standing advice that it's bad politics to shut down the government, only because it wasn't advantageous to them. Schumer privately told his colleagues Thursday he plans to break the filibuster on the GOP-led government funding bill. The shutdown would give Donald Trump the keys to the city, the state, and the country, he said. The shutdown is not a political game, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is. Most of Schumer's colleagues will vote against him, but Senate Democrats only need to provide 8 votes. And I know Fetterman said he's going to vote as well, so there's 2. So there's that'll probably get things done. But the fact that Schumer just completely folded on this is something that we should definitely take a step back on and see how it's going on. I mean, the whole budget's out of whack anyway. These continuing CRs and all these other things, they're just a joke. They're such a joke. There should be a budget. Now they're just like, oh, continuing resolutions to fund the government. Maybe I don't want to fund the government. Maybe I want some stuff to stop being funded, which is why I'm okay with Doge cutting some stuff here and there and cutting departments and trying to do this. Let's just stop funding everything and figure it out as we go. Which what Dan Bongino and your guys at Crowder and all the just fund it and then figure it out as you go. Cut it later, because stuff always gets cut after it's funded. Brilliant plan, guys. Anyway, I'm Rick. This is RickCast. I like the fact that you're here. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. We'll keep this show rolling along on this Thursday evening, the 13th of March, 2025. I don't like this act. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Do not. I don't like the fact that Wu over here has a ash on her forehead. She's a psycho progressive. I mean, whatever. I hope she converts and I hope she comes back to the church, obviously. Anyway, what is the Alien Enemies Act? Trump reported to use it for mass deportations. Just in case you've never heard of it, I'm going to give you a minute catch up.
And served 2 terms as president. When he left office, he warned the Americans about the harmful effect of political parties. By the election of 1796, there was serious hostility between the Federalists and the Republicans. Each party wanted one of its own people to win the presidential election. John Adams, a Federalist, was elected president. Thomas Jefferson, a Republican, was elected vice president. Jefferson and the Republicans were very critical of the way Adams ran the government. The Republicans organized their opposition. They used the newspapers to build public support for their views. Adams and the Federalists in Congress were able to pass 2 laws called the Alien and Sedition Acts. The Alien Act gave the president broad powers over aliens entering the country. The Sedition Act made it a crime for newspaper editors, writers, or speakers to criticize the government. The Alien and Sedition Acts outraged the Republicans. They knew that the laws were intended to silence them. Several newspaper editors and a member of Congress were fined and put in jail for writing and speaking against the government. That's all for today's podcast, 60-Second Civics, where civic education only...
I don't care, buddy. Great job. You got some promo on my show. Hope it works for you. So yes, this is the He wants to invoke the Alien Enemies Act. President Donald Trump is expected to invoke the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime power or wartime law granting the president authority to detain or deport nationals of an enemy country. Two U.S. officials familiar with the matter told the ABC. The reported move, which could happen by the end of the week, is part of the administration's broader effort to carry out mass deportations. The Alien Enemies Act is a wartime law passed in 1798 as part of the Alien and Sedition Acts under President John Adams. Grants the U.S. president the authority to attain, restrict, and deport foreign nationals from a country that is at war with the United States. Unlike other provisions in the Alien and Sedition Acts, which expired or were repealed, the Alien Enemies Act remains in effect today. The Alien Enemies Act could enable Trump to swiftly deport migrants considered part of an invasion or predatory incursion, which we have declared that, we have an invasion on the southern border and that we need to stop it. So you have that already put in place. Republicans often describe illegal immigration as an invasion, which it is, and portray migrants as dangerous criminals. Many of them are. So don't pass that over. According to ABC News, the Department of Defense is not expected to be involved, although the law could be allowing the deportation of some migrants without a hearing. Multiple sources told ABC News that discussions within the administration have taken place regarding the invocation of the act. Trump previously stated during his campaign that he wanted to invoke the law as part of his immigration enforcement strategy. So this act was designed to allow the president to authorize the relocation, arrest, or deportation of any man older than 14 years who hailed from a country at war with these United States. Of course, war is a more broader term today. The Alien Enemies Act, which was used during World War II to intern thousands of non-U.S. citizens of Japanese, German, and Italian descent at military facilities, thanks FDR. The internment of Japanese Americans was authorized separately and held later by SCOTUS, which is why SCOTUS is not a great barometer for morality. Decades later, Congress issued a formal, I don't give a crap about that. Nice way to fit that in Newsweek. If implemented, the policy could lead to rapid deportations of thousands, potentially sweeping in people who have not been convicted or even charged with crimes. If they're here illegally, they have committed a crime. This is a crime if they are here without papers or without anything like that. So this is an effort by Trump to escalate the efforts of deportations, because I think last January they deported 32 we know what they were, internment camps. That's cute. There was only 32,000 people deported in the month of January, and apparently that's less than Biden. I think Biden had 33. So we're trying to up the number of people being deported, which is what I voted for. And I don't really care, because if you're in this country legally, doesn't matter if you just broke the law by coming in or if you committed an actual crime, you're not here legally. You're soaking off the system and you need to go out. I know Kristi Noem put out a commercial, and I think they reprogrammed the CB1 app to say, leave now, because if we deport you, you're not coming back for an extended period of time. You will not be allowed back in. But if you leave voluntarily, then there's a possibility that you can go through the legal channels to come back. Don't make us throw you out. Do it yourself, which is the smart way to do it, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll keep our eye on this, but he's looking to do it, and people are just going to cheer that on. This is RickCast. I don't know how I feel about it. You let me know what you think about it in the comment sections, everybody. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Tell me what you think of the Alien Enemies Act. Should we use it? It's on the books. It's on the books, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's a lot of books. There's a lot of laws that are on the books that we choose not to enforce or use, but they're there. So, hey. All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is an interesting article here. Trump wants no taxes on people making below $150,000. Lutnick tells CBS. Listen,
The president balances the budget. His first move is going to be, he has suggested that he would like to waive taxes for people under $150,000. That's aspirational, that when we balance the budget, and let me tell you, he's got a plan to balance this budget, right? We are going to take $1 trillion out of the waste, fraud, and abuse of all of our entitlements and all of our systems and all of our waste, and then we are going to raise $1 trillion. That's the Trump card. The Trump gold card is going to be a huge revenue producer. Tariffs are going to be a huge revenue producer. And then getting rid of all the tax scams like Ireland making $75 billion budget surplus. We've got all the ships of the world having Liberian. I mean, imagine a Liberian flag so they get out of paying U.S. taxes. You cut all that stuff out. You got a balanced budget. But on the way, we're going to cut no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security.
What do you think, gang? I'm thinking what we're talking about. I think income tax. I think we're talking about no income tax. So that is the idea. Sorry, I gotta send this out real quick. That this idea is going on with it. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm down with it too. If you are making 80, 90,000 a year and you get all of that back, that could be anywhere from an extra $1,000 to $2,000, $2,500 a month for people. That's rent, that's food, that's groceries. And, income tax is unconstitutional. It was put in 1913. And I believe it's supposed to be temporary at first. I'm going to ask Steve that News with the Pew because he would know better than I would. By the way, no tax on tips. No tax on tips would technically mean Rumble rants or super chats, if I ever get to them, wouldn't be taxed. Now, YouTube would take money from them and so would Rumble. But like those kinds of things to me would be taxes on tips. Yeah, Mark, you even think about it. Catholic people would be able to send their kids to Catholic schools because one of their big things is I can't afford it. Well, if they get an extra $2,000, they can do it now, right? They can do that now. Hopefully, they would do that instead of buying a second boat or a house or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, this move could be very helpful. Could be very helpful for people. U.S. President Donald Trump wants no taxes on people making less than $150,000 a year. As you said that, as we just heard. Let Nick's comments on tip taxes and Social Security echo promises from Trump that he would eliminate taxes on tips while also pushing for sweeping tax cuts on individuals and corporations, because unlike what Democrats think, that money actually goes back into the economy and help. Not as bad as you think, Steph. I don't think it would be as bad as you think, right? Oh, well, they'll make every job a tip job. Yeah, that means people make more money. people make more money if they did that. Why not? If you could make more on like right now, tip-based jobs make more money, except the fact that you get taxed on it. But anyway, Trump's plan for $4.5 trillion in tax cuts was approved by the Republican-led House of Representatives in February. As part of the bill outlining his broader agenda for immigration, blah, 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 blah. Major point of contention has been mass firing. I don't care about any of that. But this idea is floating around, and I guarantee you that getting rid of income tax and replacing it with tariffs and other ways, yeah, that's a good point. You would have more money to put into the economy. That's the argument. More people would have money to put in for things like housing, for things like food, for gas, for trips, for all these discretionary spending that helps economies grow. Now for Congress, they're definitely the Democrats are not going to give this up without a fight. They're going to do whatever they can to make this as painful as possible. Although, as Mark points out, maybe the union will step in and say, shut up and let them pass it so my guys can make money on that. Well, Steph, that's just the restaurants. Post-COVID, tipping culture is absolutely just ridiculous. Now, would that be a problem with all of this? I don't know, but it would work itself out. It would work itself out in that regard for these businesses. But that's just because some restaurants have been struggling for 5 years since COVID. Some restaurants just can't survive post-COVID. So it's going to be interesting to see. But that's just something else I want to bring to y'all's attention, is that this has been floating around today. And that if this is done, this could be you'll put it right next. Yeah, right. No, that's just not the way the restaurants are set up. They're just not set up that way. The restaurant industry is not set up to pay that. It's not Europe, right? Where they don't have to do it in these United States, restaurants, bars, they're all set up for that way. The first of all, service is terrible right now at restaurants with this culture. You think it's going to get better if they pay them more? Because right now you can't get anybody in there. Nobody wants to do the job, and offering a little bit more money is not going to do anything by it. I mean, you and I can agree to disagree, but I don't think paying them more is a worthy solution. But maybe it is. I don't know. But this is something that's on the radar. We'll keep our eye on it here on RickCast and see where it goes from here. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell if you like this content and what we're doing here. My Rumblers, what's going on? You guys, hit that like button as well. Let me know what you're thinking over there and on X as well. Last story of the night, ladies and gentlemen, from Variety.com. Landman renewed for second season at Paramount+. Landman has been renewed for a second season at Paramount+. The Tyler Sheridan series, which stars Billy Bob Thornton and is set in the world of West Texas oil fields, debuted on Paramount+ in November. And I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it. Now, of course, the big problem with any Tyler Sheridan series is the first season is usually really good. And then the second season's like, okay. And then the third season, they just he goes completely off the rails because he's a hick lib and he just can't help himself. And he doesn't like shows that are supposedly conservative in nature. So he's got to do all these kinds of things to make up to his buddies in Hollywood to show him that he's not a Trump guy or any of this other kind of stuff. So everybody's like, yay, season 2's here, because there's a lot of places they can go with Billy Bob Thornton now that a character has passed on, or maybe he didn't pass on, or who knows. And then you got Billy Bob and you got the lawyer and all this other kind. There's a lot of fertile ground for this show to go on. But how close to the original characters when we see them in the first season will they be in the second? Now that Taylor Sheridan has a license to kind of go. The only show that he hasn't been able to do that on is Tulsa King, and that's because Stallone won't let it happen, right? Stallone's like, I'm not going to let it happen in my show. I'm not going to do that. So he's going to kind of stay. No, American History X was, Edward Norton. Edward Norton was American History X. But yes, we'll see how it goes with Landman season 2. Solid first season. We'll see if they continue going on that path. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of RickCast. And I am appreciative of all of you. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. If you go, if you're on YouTube, type in Census Fidelium in the search bar. And that will bring up, let me see if you want to see like a close-up of my face while I do it. Let's see here real quick. I'll throw this in the chat for y'all. Let's see. Come on. No, go away. What are you doing? There it is. It must be listening to me. Actually, it is listening to me. I don't know why I wouldn't be. Yeah. Actually, no, I think it's News from the Pew is its own channel. I don't know. Steve does all that. I just show up and be pretty. And then he does it there. There it is. There it is. Oh, yeah, it's his own channel. I knew that. Totally. Didn't not forget that. All right. So if you want to come hang out with me in like 15, 20 minutes, I will be over there. I think the show starts at 7:30. News from the Pew. I will be there with my guy, Steve Cunningham. But I will see you all tomorrow, if not on RickCast at this very time. And yeah, we're going to close our week out strong because we always do. Hopefully, I'll still be all right. right? I will not have any negative side effects from any flus or any of that kind of stuff. I think we'll be good in that regards. But I will talk to you all I'll see you in a couple minutes, or I'll see you all tomorrow. Either way, God bless. And until that day comes, free Dexter Taylor.